Right under this cover is our very good friend Charlie's C3 Corvette. And we stole it from him about 2 weeks ago with the help of his wife. He doesn't know it. He's away training for a new job. While he's away, we are going to attempt to get it running and driving and give it back to him. Let's take a walk around this thing and take in all the sights and sounds. So let's take a walk and drink this all in. Obviously no trunk on this car, so we'll probably start in the interior, but back bumper doesn't look terrible. Got the luggage rack back here, which personally not a big fan of, but we will leave it. So inside, it is an automatic. It's that tan or saddle interior. Doesn't smell too bad in here, but that's because the passenger side window has been down for who knows how long. Don't know if it's down or broken, but have a feeling we're going to find out. Overall, not bad. The seats look pretty good. Dash pad could probably use some armor all, but not terrible. Little play in the steering column, nothing crazy. Little bit of rust starting up here. Not ideal, but close this up, check out the other side. I think that door fixed itself because I'm pretty sure when we picked this car up, it wouldn't shut.
Knows where it is.
All right, check it off the list. Done. All right, well, we have our answer about what happened to the window. It's clearly broken because half of it is on the door sill. Ooh, got a brand new carpet. Let's put that where that belongs, on the roof. I believe these are the T-top covers. I think that would make sense. Not too sure. An extra center cap down there. What we got here? Oh, state inspection. Past inspection, December 20th, 2014. I don't remember what the... Oh, somebody put it in as a Camaro. Close enough. Oh, they just got the model wrong because they have 77 Chevrolet, but obviously this is not a Camaro. It's a good thing that we have this fresh carpet because the one that's in here does not look very good. And I assume it's probably got some rainwater on there at one point. Well, that's interesting. Doc's Headlamp Vacuum System Guide. It looks like a lot of hoses there. I'm not really looking forward to messing with that. And they are stuck up right now, so that should be pretty interesting. Aside from that, not too much going on in the interior. Factory jack, which we actually had to pull out of the trunk to get this thing onto the trailer. Pretty standard stuff back there. Those two compartments behind the seats. I don't know if that carpet that we got goes all the way back there, but it would be nice if it did. Other than this passenger window that's blown out, the rest of the glass looks like it's in pretty good shape in the car. And I know they did this on C4 Corvettes, not too sure about C3s, where they would have like the placard on here with the engine code and the horsepower and the torque and everything like that. They might have left that out for the 77 because the numbers were not very good. Speaking of which, let's go around to the front, see what we have under the hood. Now, in 1977, you would have had two options for the 350. You would have had the L48 and the L82. I believe the L48 was 140 horsepower. I believe the L82 was 210. Don't know if it's going to tell us on here or not, or if there's any other way to tell. If you guys know C3s well, maybe you can put that down in the comments to help somebody out, myself included. But here's what we have under the bonnet. Looks fairly complete. All right. Actually has an AC compressor, but only thing I can see just by taking a quick glance, it looks like somebody swapped out the valve covers at one point. So with those, this is probably now 210 horsepower at the very least. But everything else looks pretty intact. Hopefully this thing is healthy enough where we can get it to spin over and actually run. Because if not, we're gonna have an issue. Like I said, Charlie's back in 2 weeks, so we are definitely on a time crunch with this. By the way, you may have seen him before, but working with Steve from American Nostalgia Garage on this. Charlie is a very good friend of both of ours. And we're gonna do everything that we can to get this car running and driving for him. And if this motor is locked up for whatever reason, my 55 Chevy is here that does have a running small block. And I wouldn't think twice about pulling it out and put it in here for Charlie. But hopefully it doesn't come to that. So I think that's pretty much it for the car. Obviously anything else we find, you'll see along the way. So let's see if we can dig into this thing. I don't know if we're going to tackle the window first or if we're going to try and get this thing to turn over. Not too sure where to start. We're going to brainstorm now for a little bit. And we'll bring you back when we come up with a decision. Got her moved over. There are no brakes. Like nothing. Not even a little bit. So let's start off with possibly the biggest hurdle. Will this thing actually run? Pull the old dipstick here, see if we have oil. We do have oil on there. I don't know if you guys can see it, but I can. It looks a little dirty, but it doesn't look cloudy. Doesn't look like a glitter factory, so that is a good sign. We do have oil in the engine. Now it also appears all 8 spark plugs and wires on the engine side appear to be in and attached. However, on the distributor side, looks like we have a couple that might have been pulled off. So we don't really know too much about the history of this car as far as what was fixed, what wasn't fixed, what issues possibly arose. But I see us possibly digging into the ignition system on this car. But the fact that the engine itself is sealed up and we have oil in it is a good sign. So I'm gonna cross our fingers, knock on fiberglass, and hopefully we can get this thing to budge free. And then we're gonna send it into oblivion with the brand new battery that we bought and just let the starter do all the work. As soon as Steve is done messing around, I'm gonna see if this thing turns over, but got to get the socket on the crank bolt first.
Come back.
You just gotta put it on the bolt and then turn it.
Come back next fiscal year. Oh, I got it.
You want to see if I can keep my hand
I
on
want
it?
you to leave me alone.
I'll see you later.
Is it like in neutral or ratchet?
I can't tell.
I mean, yeah, I'll take it. Not even a little bit.
It was or it wasn't?
No, it was fine.
What do you want to see if maybe we could turn the alternator? I mean, the belt might slip, but it might turn it too.
I can't get my fat hands down there. So Ryan brought up a good idea.
I love Corvettes, but sometimes I hate working on Corvettes. There is no room in the front of this car. So what we're going to try is see if we can turn the alternator, and then hopefully if we can put a little bit of tension on the belt, maybe, just maybe, that will put enough tension on the crank pulley and get it to spin over. Now ideally we'd like to get at least a full rotation out of it to make sure that there are no tough spots or it's not getting hung up anywhere. But the fact of the matter is there's just not enough room. To get that room, you probably have to pull the clutch fan, which we are trying to avoid. So we're going to see if the alternator trick works. Oh, it's turning. So we went ahead, pulled the air cleaner off. All right, just a sneaking suspicion that the carburetor might need some attention after sitting for this long. But throttle is free. We're going to pull this cover off the distributor in a minute and see if we could hook the spark plug wires back up. Probably going to have 1 or 2 vacuum leaks on this car. There's I believe it's 3,600 nautical miles of vacuum line on a 77 Corvette. 36 or 37, don't quote me, but it's right around there. So pretty certain that we'll have at least 1 or 2 vacuum leaks. But we'll cross that bridge when we come to it. For now, we just want to make sure, will the car turn over with the key? And we can work on spark, fuel. Maybe we'll vacuum some of these animal droppings out of here too, so we're not just marinating them on the intake manifold when this thing warms up. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and remove the old battery. Thankfully no one put the hold down on there because the terminals are gonna be bad enough to get off. Tucked all the way behind the driver's seat in this particular car. And if you were curious, if you're over 4'2", it's not a good time getting in here. That's good, didn't need that. Don't need that where we're going. Chevy specifically designed the C3 Corvette so that you would immediately slip a disc trying to get the battery back in here. Not because it's heavy, just because they put it in the absolute worst spot possible. Got one terminal on, put the second one on now. Oh, got interior lights. I don't hear Steve yelling, so that means that nothing's on fire currently. All right.
Interior light.
Battery is in. Probably couldn't see it while I was rearranging my spinal cord, but interior light came on. And listen to this. The buzzer for the key actually works. Charlie's basically got like a Barrett Jackson car here.
Car's restored.
Yeah. All right, we're gonna go drop this off to him. All right, Steve's gonna do the honors. So, like I said, battery is hooked up. I don't see anything on fire. So, I'm just gonna see if this thing turns over. Well, that's a good sign. Heard a tiny little bit of a gallop in there. But I don't think it's anything that this car running for 10-15 minutes won't cure once it gets some oil pressure up in there and kind of works everything and seats everything back where it belongs. So, tech tip of the day. All right, if none of your spark plug wires are on the distributor, chances are you're probably not going to have spark. Now, so I pulled that chrome cover off just to see kind of what was going on, and when I did, found that all of the plug wires are off the distributor. So I think we're going to pull the cap, see if anything else is going on under there that we should know about. And then I think from there, maybe we will try and guess the firing order, because the spark plug wires go through these 2 tubes on either side, so you can't see which wire is which. We might have to ohm them out. And then once we figure that out, I think we're going to put a spark tester in line, hit the key again, and see if we have anything at all. All right, so in addition to all the spark plug wires being pulled off of the distributor, the ignition control module is also missing, and we do not have a spare one. So we did order one. That should be here tomorrow. For now, what we're going to do is we're going to find top dead center. All right, old thumb over the spark plug hole trick. When somebody turns the key, as soon as it gets blown out, you know you're at top dead center on number 1. So we'll just figure out where the distributor needs to point, and hopefully tomorrow when the module gets here, we can just, put everything together, and hopefully we have spark then. We'll have a new control module. I think we have a new cap and rotor somewhere on the property for it, although we might just leave the old stuff in here for now to see if we can get it to run, and then we'll worry about replacing and updating some of this stuff. So we'll grab a socket, pull the spark plug out, and see if we can find number 1. Sound like the starter's not too happy.
Yeah, go ahead. One more. One more. Go ahead. This is definitely number one.
All right, so pretty sure that we have it top dead center on number 1. So now where our rotor is pointing, that's going to be number 1 on the cap. There are definitely more precise ways of doing this. You can do it with a piston stop. You can mark the balancer and refer to your timing tab from there. This should be close enough to get us in the ballpark. So with that done now, hopefully tomorrow, all we have to do is put the control module in, determine what wire is what, and then maybe see if we can get some oil pressure on this thing. All right, so we determined which spark plug wire is which. Last thing we're going to do for tonight, Steve already pulled the fuel line out of the carburetor, as well as the stone filter that sits behind the line, just to make sure that's not clogged. And we're going to shoot a little bit of oil down into the fuel line itself, and hopefully that'll lubricate that diaphragm before we send it to the moon tomorrow, trying to get this thing to run. Filter looks pretty good. I'm going to grab some WD-40 or something, shoot it down the fuel line, let that marinate overnight. And hopefully we can get that fuel pump to work, because it looks like it's a complete pain to do it in this car, much like everything else. Well, it's a new day and we have some fresh parts. So we ordered the ignition control module that was mysteriously missing from this car. We got ourselves a new fuel pump as well. So that test the other day, taking the feed line off the fuel pump and then holding the finger over as you crank to see if it pulls, told us that the pump that's in the car is no good. So we got those two. Hopefully with these two, fingers crossed, we might be able to get this thing to light off today. But we'll see what happens. We drew straws. Steve is going to do the fuel pump, and I'm going to do the ignition control module, get the distributor cap, the wires back on, and we'll see if we have any luck. Just another day of me not being able to speak English. I love it. I love it. It's a good time. All right, so I'm going to pull the rotor off real quick so I have access to get the new control module in there. Inspect this rotor as well when we have it off to make sure nothing's broken. Although both contact tips look pretty good, I don't see any cracks in there, so we should be in good shape. But with our luck, you never know. That look right to you? We're gonna end up digging into this distributor a little bit more than we thought, and that's because the advanced mechanism with the weights and springs does not turn very easily. So I don't know if there is rust on the underside that's stopping it from moving. I tried shooting some WD-40 on it, no luck. So I'm going to pull the springs and the weights off and see if I can clean this up, grease it, whatever the case may be. But right now it is entirely too stiff. And I'll bring you guys around so you can see. So obviously with the rotor off, all right, as that turns, and you can see how much tension I have to put on there to get it to move. Although, I don't know, maybe it's getting a little easier now. Either way, while I'm in here, I'm going to take it apart, inspect, and see if we can free that up a little bit. All right, so I realize it's a little difficult for you to tell how hard it was to turn before because it's me turning it and not you. But before I needed 2 hands, now one finger, back and forth. So I just pulled that apart, basically got some WD-40 in there, and then just worked it back and forth for a couple minutes, and seems to have come around. So I'm going to toss this back together. I will probably put the control module back in now while I have a little bit more room, and then we'll move on from there. This guy's just taking his sweet time doing the fuel pump.
Come back another day.
So I'm going to apply a little of this, I don't know if this is dielectric grease or what, but put it right on the, I guess the heat sink on the bottom, bolt this in, plug it in, and then we can put the rest of the distributor back on. If anybody knows what these clips are, then you know my pain and how much I'm sweating putting these back on, because if these go flying, we're in a little bit of trouble. All right, so we're all back together. Springs return nice and easy now. So should be good to go. Here's a little throw it down now to see if we can get this thing to light off. We're gonna dump some fuel down the carb and hope. Yeah, it's Uncle Charlie's car.
Yeah.
You like that car?
Yeah. Daddy says she wants to buy one.
Yeah,
Yeah.
which means he'll probably have one next week.
Oh, those are good lights. See?
Yeah. Obviously where we left off, got the car running, actually drove it back into the yard, and first thing today, pulled it out, and we're gonna tackle the brakes today. So we were able to stop the car how it is right now. However, pedal doesn't feel great, so we ended up ordering some soft brake lines, and we're gonna try replacing them in all four corners and see if this master cylinder is any good or if that needs to get replaced. So we're gonna pull the center cap off and see what we have going on under here. Anti-theft device on the back of this. All right, so line does not look terrible. All right, time for everybody's favorite game. Is the bleeder going to snap off in the caliper or not?
Are we taking bets on it?
And I love this game.
All right. Nice. Man. A bunch of orifices on my body clammed up.
Yeah. The only reason that happened is because it's Charlie's car. If this was mine, I would have snapped the caliper off and broken my finger when I slipped.
Dude, if this was my car, we'd have spun a rod bearing.
Oh, freak electrical fire. Call the insurance company.
Yeah.
All right, so that's good news. Bleeder broke loose. Obviously, with stuck hardware like that, I mean, bleeders are notorious for it, especially if cars have sat before. I gave it a spray with some PB Blaster before. You can heat them with the torch a little bit. Sometimes you got to be very careful. The good news about that is that it's so hot out today that if I used the torch to try and heat it, it would probably actually cool it down. But we're in luck, at least with the front. Steve got the driver's side cracked open, so the bleeder over there is loose as well. So now we might monkey around with this and see if we can, maybe there's some air in the lines, maybe we can bleed the brakes, see what happens, then we'll monitor for leaks. All right, both front brakes are bled. We could see the caliper move on either side, and had Steve tested. He pressed the brake pedal while I tried to rotate the tire. Brakes are definitely working. You can see we got some fluid on the ground. Like I said, both sides bled. There was a little bit of air in the lines, but we did each side 2 or 3 times. I mean, calipers don't look great. They're just surface rust, but there's plenty of life left on the pads. The rotors look perfect as well. So I think for now, we're going to throw the front wheels back on this thing. We're going to take a look at the back and see if we could find anything there. I'm hoping that maybe they just needed to be bled, or maybe they were serviced before this car was parked and they weren't bled properly. Not really too sure what the deal is, but I think we're going to call the front good for now. So I'll toss everything back on, and then we'll take a look at the back and see what we can find back there. All right, so just more of the same on the back. I'm going to pull the wheels off, take a look at everything, see if we can bleed them back here as well. Now, this car had this on the front as well, and I don't know if I showed it to you guys or not because I had some frustrations with one of the tools that I was using, so probably going to edit that part out. But the center caps had this same like anti-theft device on them. I did not put it back on the front, and I'll show you why. This is how they go on. There's just like a crude hook that's bent into the wire that's bolted to the center cap. But look at the gap now where that tapered seat on the lug nut does not actually meet the taper on the wheel. So essentially, these wheels are lug centric, right? They have that tapered conical seat on them, and that one right there, you cannot bottom out on the wheel. So I'm going to do what I did on the front, and we're just going to tuck this wire inside the center cap. I don't really see rally wheel center caps being like a hot ticket to steal now. Maybe when this car was new, it was a different case, but those are not going back on. So pull the wheel off, and we'll see what we have on this side. All right, got one bleeder broken loose so far. Loosened up that one. It didn't snap off in there, so that's good. But pretty much the same as we had in the front. Yeah, there's a lot of surface rust on here, but the pads look, I mean, brand new. Same thing. Rotors, there's surface rust on there, but there's no ridges, there's no gouges or anything like that. It kind of seems like somebody may have serviced the brakes on this car shortly before it was parked. And I don't know what happened from there, because we were told that the car had brake issues. So unless we're missing something, which I don't think we are because we don't have any leaks underneath the car, all the hoses look good. Neither one of the calipers are seized up, at least in the front. We're going to check the rear out here in a minute. So not too sure about what's going on with this or why it has been trouble-free up to this point. Now that I said that, something catastrophic is going to happen. But yeah, we're going to work on bleeding this, and then if all goes well, probably throw the wheels back on this thing and maybe take it for a spin. I ended up having the same issue with a lot of the audio recordings that I had in the beginning of the video. So unfortunately, the first drive, even the first startup, I missed. However, today is the day we're going to drop this car off to Charlie. So before we did that, we decided to give it a quick power wash, knock the 10 to 15 years of dirt and debris off the car, just polish it up a little bit for him. So Steve and I took a couple minutes, pressure washed the car, and as soon as we're done with this, Steve's going to drive the Vette. I'm going to follow in my car, and we're going to deliver this to our good friend Charlie, and hopefully he will be able to enjoy this car for many years to come. Well, 77 Corvette made a successful trip back to our friend Charlie's house. Car ran very well. Unfortunately, like I said, I had some audio issues with my camera. I'm actually recording this on my phone right now as I'm finishing editing up the video. But we both decided early on we didn't really want to stick a camera in his face as we were giving him the car back. So we just spent some time with him. Obviously, he got the car back. He was very surprised, very happy. And he's looking forward to doing some more work on the car. So there's definitely going to be more of this car on the channel. If you do like C3 Corvettes, please consider subscribing. And you'll probably see Charlie in a couple of these videos as well, because he wants to get his hands dirty and put the car back to, to what it deserves to be. And that's a car that, he should enjoy and get to drive around and spend some time with his wife in. So thank you guys very much for watching. If you did enjoy it, please consider subscribing. And we'll see you on the next one.